Swami Chetanananda is a monk of the Ramakrishna order and is the minister of Vedanta Society of St. Louis and Kansas City. In Kansas City there is a sub-center and he is a minister in charge of that also. Recently it has been recognized by our organization as a sub-center of St. Louis Center. He has been associated with the order since 1950. He officially joined the order as a monk in 1960. He was initiated by Swami Shankarananda, the 7th president of the order and the private secretary of Swami Brahmananda, a direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. Before coming to the United States, the Swami worked in publication and editorial departments of Advaita Ashram at Mayavati, Himalayas, and its branch in Calcutta. He served as an assistant minister of the Vedanta Society of Southern California, Los Angeles from 1971 to 1978. And in 1977-1978, he served as Vice President of the Inter-Religious Council of Southern California, and at present, he is cabinet member of the Interfaith Partnership of St. Louis. He was transferred to St. Louis, Missouri in March 1978 and served as Assistant Minister of the Vedanta Society of St. Louis under Swami Satprakashananda. He became the minister of the society in January 1980 after the death of Swami Satprakashananda in November 1979. He is also the minister of the Vedanta Society of Kansas City, Missouri. The Swami has written, translated and edited many books in English, Bengali and Sanskrit. He has produced 3 documentary videotapes and 6 chanting CDs. Following is a list of some of his publications in English. Most of the publication in English will be available in our bookstore, and Swami will be available after his talks in the bookstore if you want to get the books signed. So the list of books like this: Ramakrishna, a biography in pictures; Holy Mother, a biography in pictures; Sri Ramakrishna and his divine play; Sri Sarada Devi and her divine play; Ramakrishna as we saw him; they lived with God, God lived with them; Girish Chandra Ghosh, a Bohemian devotee of Ramakrishna; how to live with God in the company of Ramakrishna; Vedanta, voice of freedom; Vedanta, East meets West; Mahendranath Gupta, meditation and its methods; a guide to spiritual life, that is teachings of Swami Brahmananda; how a shepherd boy became a saint, teachings and reminiscences of Swami Adbhutananda; then spiritual treasures, letters of Swami Turiyananda; and Avadhuta Gita, the song of the ever free. This is, I believe, almost complete list, but maybe 1 or 2 it might be missing. But then there is a list of Bengali books, and unfortunately it is also long, and I don't think many of you will be able to read or will be interested, so I skip it. But if you want to know, I shall definitely give you in person. Then CDs and CDs. She has produced some CDs, Echoes of the Eternal, that is peace, bliss and harmony and breath of the eternal, awakening, reflection and illumination. It is a CD consisting of Sanskrit chants with English translation. Then he has produced videotapes and DVDs. Ramakrishna, a documentary; Vivekananda, as we saw him, a documentary; Parables of Ramakrishna and Swami Gambhirananda, a documentary. So this is a list of his what is called a biodata, and we are very happy that he keeps his time reserved for us every year. He is very busy nowadays. Actually, he has started cancelling his programs, and I know that he said that he was invited to go to Australia, but he cancelled it. But recently, that just I think a few weeks ago, he just came from a visit to UK. Now he'll be going after our retreat. After some time, he'll be going to Canada. That means Oregon, then Vancouver, then what is called Calgary, all these places. So we are very lucky that he continues to come here, and I hope that he will continue to come here every year as long as he can. And today the subject of his talk is Stories of Vedanta Monks, Part 1. And the talk will be followed by questions and answers. This is very interesting. Vedanta monks. We do not know after Sri Ramakrishna or his direct disciples the lives and how they lived and stories that are associated with many, many illustrious monks. So I hope you will get a lot of new materials from today's talk. And I thank you all for coming and attending this retreat. Now Swami Chetanananda.
He Ramakrishna Madhuram Tava Satcharitram Tvat Punna Nama Madhuram Madhuram Tadangam Sambhashanam Cha Madhuram Madhuram Cha Ganam Tat Kim Yanna Madhuram Bhavati Tvadiyam. O Ramakrishna, your life story is sweet. Your name also is very sweet. Your body is beautiful. Your conversation is enchanting. Your singing is also very sweet. Lord, is there anything which is devoid of sweetness in you? Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace be full. As you heard, the topic of our retreat is stories of Vedanta monks. Of course, Ramakrishna order. Two years ago, it came to my mind that these great monks' life stories will be lost forever. Swami Chetanananda used to say, we should not just stop after the direct disciples of Ramakrishna. We shall continue. The presidents of the order and the other great illustrious Swamis. We shall be able to learn many, many things from their lives. How it goes, I am telling you. First, Sri Ramakrishna, the source of our spirituality and everything, is the avatar of this age. First generation is Sri Ramakrishna's disciples, how Sri Ramakrishna trained them. You see, in a spiritual life, training is the most important thing. Then, this second generation, the direct disciples of Ramakrishna trained them. It was the desire of Swami Vivekananda that it was not fulfilled. That Sri Ramakrishna gave instructions to each Swami, each disciple, should be collected and preserved in Belurma, but it was not done. So I started to collect the reminiscences of the direct disciples, which are mostly in Bengali. Then I started this project. I have many diaries of the dead monks. I interviewed with tape recorder, cassette tape recorder. Then I visited many monks and knew personally many great monks. So all these materials I collected and put them together in 2 volumes, 825 pages. Prachin, Sadhudev, Katha, stories of the old monks. They are now in the process of printing in Bengali. Hopefully they will be published in English in the course of time. We are the 3rd generation. We have not seen Sri Ramakrishna, we have not seen the direct disciples, but we met the second generation. And we heard many things from them. Some of them are mother's disciples, Swami Vivekananda's disciples, Brahmananda, Shivananda, Shardananda's disciples. We heard from them many, many stories which are not many in the books. Now you may raise the question about the oral tradition. Oral tradition. You will have to understand the source of the tradition. How authentic are they? So we evaluated and collected those things, and there we find the life stories of the Jali disciples, their spiritual practices, their travels, their memoirs, the history of the order. But many things are lost because those Swamis did not record them. History never stops. History always moves in a wavefall, ups and downs. Swamiji see in Varanagar Math, just in the beginning, you will see our names will be recorded in the history. And actually it did. In 1964, Carl Thomas Jackson wrote a thesis, Swamis in America, in 1964 in UCLA. Then in 1976, during the bicentennial, there was a big exhibition in the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C. I went to see it. There was 26 pavilions in that exhibition, and Swami Vivekananda was one of them. The American people tried to demonstrate, the foreigners, those who came to this country and contributed in the heritage, especially in various fields in American life. And Vivekananda was one of them. History. What is history? History is like a golden boat. The masses, rich people are not be accommodated. Only few people will be recorded in the pages of history who have contributed most for the good of humanity, who sacrificed most. Their life stories we find in the history. Second, worship of the character. It is in every race, in every country. If you read that famous article, it is an essay by Emerson, Character. That is the most important thing in spiritual life. Swamiji defined character in the beginning of Karma Yoga. Whatever we do, whatever we think, they leave some impressions in the mind. Those impressions form habit, and habit forms character. So those people, through their good deeds, good thoughts, build their character, they will be remembered. They become Mahatma. Many years ago, I read Gulistan by Sadi, the famous poet and philosopher of Persia. One of his friends came to his place and picked up some roses. But what are you doing? Well, I am going to take some of your flowers to my home. Sadi looked at those flowers and said, the longevity of those flowers, only 3-4 days. They will fade, their fragrance will go away. But I shall make a flower garden which will remain immortal. From that day on, he started to write poems and stories, and he wrote in that famous book, the Gulistan. Gulistan in Persian language is the rose garden. The fragrance and the beauty of those stories and poems will never fade away. It is a classic in the world literature, and it has been translated into many languages. which is interesting. I am just giving you a little glimpses before I start my topic. Some people think that what is the necessity of knowing the old past things? Bury them. Swamiji gave a lecture in Lahore, the common basis of Hinduism, which is in 1897, after returning from America. There he mentioned about the glory of the past of India and how we can get benefit from it. It is a beautiful statement Swamiji made. To me, Ramakrishna is just like a snow-clad mountain, immobile. And the direct disciples of Ramakrishna are the melted ice. When we are thirsty, we do not drink ice, we drink water. So Sri Ramakrishna's concentrated consciousness flowed through his disciples for the good of humanity. Swamiji mentioned that I left these gems and jewels. The future generations will come and they will spread it all over the world. Truly speaking, Ramakrishna Order is a very new religious organization. If you read the religious history of the world, Buddhism spread 250 years after the passing away of Buddha, during the time of King Ashoka. Christianity, I was in London, I was telling them, Christianity came in London in 597 AD. Thomas Saint Gregory brought Christianity in Islam, in England. So when I was telling, Ramakrishna Order is very new. I have seen two persons who saw Sri Ramakrishna. I saw, of course, many disciples of Holy Mother and Swamiji. Anyhow, so I started this project. I am very happy. I tried to finish it, but it is not a complete thing anyhow. In the Bhagavatam, we find Avadhuta had 24 gurus. He learned from each one of them. When Swami Sri Ramakrishna was deathbed in Kashipur, a disciple said, I know. Sri Ramakrishna said, what do you say? You know? Never say I know. Shokhi, jotodin bachi, totodin shiki. My friend, as long as I live, so long do I learn. Miss MacLeod used to say about Swamiji, you people think Swamiji was a great teacher. We saw Swamiji was a great learner. He continuously learned. As a result, we find Swamiji is always fresh. We shall keep our heart open. We shall continuously learn. From various Swamis, some stories I am going to tell you. It is a bit one or two can strike you. That's it. That may change our whole lives. Learn, continuously learn. I remember when I was initiated, I asked our Guru, Maharaj, please give us some advice. His voice was like a roaring lion. Only Upadesh. Only advice, only advice. Nobody follows, only asks you advice. He said, read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. All of your questions have been answered there. If Ramakrishna's answers do not satisfy you, my answer will not satisfy you either. Go. That was the advice I got. We met Swami Vishuddhanandaji, mother's disciple, great Swami. I think one year I gave a talk about gems from the Guardian of Saints. from his conversation. Every afternoon he would sit in the monastery and the devotees would come and he would talk only about God. Adu ante madhye cha huri sarvatra giyati. In the beginning, in the middle, in the end, only God. And he would uplift these people's mind to the higher level of consciousness. Somebody asked, Maharaj, who is greater, Sri Ramakrishna or Holy Mother? He smiled and said, I don't know who is greater, but one thing I can tell you, Ramakrishna worshipped Holy Mother. Now you decide. He made another statement I really liked. Sri Ramakrishna saw Holy Mother, their relationship, and Holy Mother saw Sri Ramakrishna. Both saw from three angles. Sri Ramakrishna saw Holy Mother, my wife, my disciple, my Ishta, my chosen deity. And Holy Mother saw Sri Ramakrishna, my husband, my guru, and my chosen deity, my Ishta. Amazing how their relationship. He told many stories, about Mother. And just few stories I shall tell, later on I shall tell other stories. Then Swami Madhavanandaji. It was in 1963, I did not go to the training center. So I went, Maharaj, I cannot come to the training center this year. Then Maharaj said, that's all right, work for Swamiji. Do you know who is senior, who is junior? The person who is close to Sri Ramakrishna, he is senior. The person who is away from Sri Ramakrishna, he is junior. Spirituality does not depend upon the age. It depends upon your intensity. Very interesting, the way these great Swamis talk. Then I talked about, one day Swami Chetanananda asked me a question. I gave a vague answer. I think so. Then he scolded me. Either say I know or say I do not know. Don't say I think so, it may be, I don't. In this way, listen. Based on your words, I am going to make a decision. If your words are wrong, my decision will be wrong. There are so many things to learn from these Swamis. It's amazing. You must be very decisive. Always hold on the truth. When I first joined, Swami Gambhiranandaji was then translating the reminiscences of Vivekananda from Bengali to English. That English book you see. Most of them, Bengali ones are translated by him. I still remember. He was translating Holy Padamitra's translation. And he has tremendous stomachache. Putting a hot water bag, he was pressing and he was working. So Swami Advayananda, who was the manager, he went to his room. Maharaj, please take some rest. Jao. Go, don't disturb me. Then I went. Maharaj, I have a request. What? Maharaj, you should take a little rest. You are in pain. Then Swami said, if I lie down, will my pain go? Can you give me guarantee? I said, no guarantee, Maharaj. Then he said something which I shall never forget. You see, when I work for the Master, I forget my body consciousness. And Swamiji, I really learned how to work for Swamiji and Sri Ramakrishna. Forget the body idea. I stayed 5-6 years with him. He was a great influence in my life. coming from, first time I was in deep trouble in France. Swami Vidyatmananda came to receive me, I could not see him, I came out. Then from embassy people took me to their home. So I wrote to him after reaching Hollywood, Maharaj, I don't know, I came to work for Sri Ramakrishna Thakur, gave me so much trouble. He wrote me back, you have not yet learned our philosophy. Uncle, what is the philosophy? Sri Ramakrishna will tie your hands and feet and beat you, and you cry and say, Master, you are very compassionate. Sri Ramakrishna will beat you right and left, and you cry and say, Master, you are very compassionate. That is all. So when trials and tribulations come to your life, don't get upset. You know why? Those are the tests. We'll have to go through it. Karma. Swami Bhuteshananda also was a great Swami. I was very close to him. I shall never forget that scene. We went to Nepal, went to a temple far away from the city, and while coming back, our car broke down. It was 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening. Cold air of Himalayas was blowing. And we thought, what will happen? I saw that Swami stood there on the street, motionless. We are really in trouble. We are very much worried. Then a truck came. We raised our hands and stopped the truck. And you know, Indian trucks, they're very high sometimes. She was a little heavy. He and Shikharas, we two, just lifted Maharaj and put him on this next seat of the truck driver. And Sam stood in the back, and we sat near his feet. There is not much room, there's a small truck. That day I really felt what is called state of break, man of stage wisdom. We get worries and anxiety, So much faith in God. Something will come. Many stories I knew about him. I remember when in Belur during our days, half an hour in the evening, there will be a food offering to Sri Ramakrishna. In that half an hour, there will be a bell in the beginning and the bell afterwards. We used to go to some senior Swamis to hear the stories of the olden days. Swami Nirvanananda told a few stories. One of them really struck me. He went to Turiyananda and said, Maharaj, we left home, family, everything, but we have not seen God. Swami Turiyananda said, we have come under the Kalpataru tree. The fruits are hanging. If you stay under that tree, you will get a fruit. But if you want the fruit means God realization. And if you want the fruit right now, shake the tree. Shake the tree. That means use your self-effort. Please remember, in God realization, two things are very vital. Self-effort and divine grace. Our teachers used to say, they are work like two blades of scissors. One blade cannot cut the cloth. Self-effort and grace, they come together. If you make effort, you will get the grace. As Sri Ramakrishna said, if you move one step toward God, God will come 100 steps, 10 steps towards you. You will have to move. That is the most important thing in his spiritual life. Otherwise, I shall lie down in my bed. It happened. One girl took initiation from me and heard And then she does not want to work. But I surrender to Sri Ramakrishna. My goodness, if you have that faith, you go and lie down, Sri Ramakrishna will cook and put food in your mouth. You will not do anything, just lie down, go to bed. Sri Ramakrishna will cook food and give to you. Great Swami. Sometimes you get a scolding also. After my training center, I went to Swami Omkaranandaji and said, Maharaj, my training is over, so I came to see you. What? Training is over? Did anybody beat you with shoes? Uncle, no, you are not trained. Your ego is not shattered. You are not trained. He used to always encourage us, greatest scholars. Fuchi epor, work, eat steadily, minutely. Every little details of Sri Ramakrishna Swamiji, you must know. You know, I always say, the person you love, you know that person's ins and outs, everything about that person you must know. The more you know, the more your love will increase. That is the way in the spiritual life it works. You must know. Then I shall tell you a few stories of Swami Bodhatmananda, who was the principal of training center. During our convocation address, he was telling us, Vidya Chatushpa, learning has 4 quarters. 1/4 comes from the student, 1/4 comes from the co-student. Through discussion they clear various things. 1/4 comes from the guru, teacher, and the 1/4 comes in the course of time. So don't expect more than 1/4 from me. That's a beautiful way to say it. I remember at the time of class we are discussing about the difference between Mukti and Nirvana. In Vedanta we call it Mukti, liberation. And Vedanta and Buddha always call Nirvana. I said, Maharaj, what is the difference? It is a philosophical question. He said, I don't see any difference. Here is the ship, boat, left the harbor. Buddha is in that boat, and Shankara also in that boat. The boat entered the deep ocean. You cannot see the shore anymore. So Buddha looked upward and said, Sarvam Shunyam Shunyam. Everything is a void, void. And Shankara looked downward, saw the water, and said, Sarvam Purnam, Purnam. Everything is food, food. One saw the negative side, another saw the positive side. Experience is the same. Then it is two new approaches, that's all. You know, that example I shall never forget. The same boat, they are same place, one saw one side, another person saw the other side. We know that half glass, half empty, half glass water. It's like that. It is just the approach difference. That's all. Another Swami told me, I am just sharing what I learned. It is not a lecture, I told you in the very beginning. I am just sharing what I have learned from the other Swamis and many stories. Sometimes we think about our old age. Oh, who will look after me? Oh, what will happen? Sometimes we think. That one old Swami came and told me, you know, Let me tell you a story of Tolstoy, the Russian philosopher. A Russian farmer had 2 bulls which he used for plowing. One bull was very lazy, did not want to pull the plow. So the farmer was disgusted, sold that cow to a butcher, that's finished. Another cow wholeheartedly pulled the plow whole life. When that bull became old, the farmer decided not to sell that cow to the bull to the butcher. Oh, that bull served me so much whole life. I must take care of it. Let him stay in my farm and die as he likes, according to the time. He said that if you work wholeheartedly for Sri Ramakrishna, he is not ungrateful. He will look after it. Don't worry, only work. You know, I tell you frankly, Mirabai, the great mystic saint, her chosen deity was Giridhari Gopal Krishna. And her Ishta mantra was Chakur Rapuji. Lord, make me your maid servant. I shall clean Vrindavan, your play, the place of your divine play. If I be your servant, do you know what? I shall get 3 things. I shall be able to see you every day. The master at home and you are working, cleaning, you can see the master. Second, you will be in my mind all the time. A good servant thinks about the master. And the third, your love and compassion and affection will come toward you. This person is working so much for me. I must do something for him or her. So, you know how important it is to serve. That Swamiji said again and again, love and serve. Let this be our motto. Love people, serve people. Those who are selfish, they have all problems. Day and night they think about me. They have all problems. That is the reason Swamiji mentioned in Karma Yoga. Do you know how did he define God? Unselfishness is God. What a great definition Swamiji gave. I remember another story of Swami Sadbhagatanandaji, who was in Boston. He was initiated by Swami Akhandananda, a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, in Bombay. Akhandanandaji told him, you really want to be a monk? Yes, Swami. You go from here to Hardwar on foot without carrying any money, begging food from door to door. Whatever you say. You went to Konkan, Hardwar. Swami Kalyanananda, Swamiji's disciple, who started the hospital there. He said, you really want to be a monk? Yes. What do you do in the temple? Tell me. You do worship, you offer food, and you pray. Puja, Naivedya, Prarthana. Worship, offering food, and prayer. And in this hospital, Seva, ঔষধপত্র ও দুটি মিষ্টি কথা। Seva, serve these patients, give them medicine and diet, and tell them a few sweet words. There you pray, you just tell them a few sweet words. To me, that is practical Vedanta. That is practical Vedanta. When you close your eyes, you say, I am Brahman. When you open your eyes, you say, you are Brahman too, thou art that. Aham Brahmasmi and thou art that are the same meaning, same implication. That is practical Vedanta. That our Swamis of the Ramakrishna order practice and teach. I wrote a verse from the Bhagavatam. Do you know what? Your time sometimes comes fulfillment in life. That is a beautiful idea. What have you achieved in your life? Sometimes ask this question. What have I achieved? What have I learned? It is in the Bhagavatam. Krishna was telling, Etavad janma sapallam dehinam ihadehishu pranay artoi dhiya vacha shreya etab acharet sada. That verse struck me. Janma sapallam, fulfillment in life. What have you achieved? Krishna says, if you can serve others through your pranay, through your energy, your physical, arthai, whatever money, possessions you have, dhiya, with your intellect, with your mind, and vacha, your speech. And all energy, everything is focused to serve human beings. Then you will get successful in life. Example, the tree. I think I told you that the story. One day, Swami Chetanananda and myself, we are seated near the Krishna pond. He was telling me, you know, this morning I had an interview with a lady, and she was telling me, Swami, nobody loves me. It hurt me. Nobody loves me. Then there are some peach trees are there, you will find. Well, look at the peach trees. Those trees do not eat their own fruits. All the year round, those trees are there through rain, through heat, through frost. When season comes, those trees give fruits to me. Those trees love me. Then he was a little poet. Then he said, you know, when I get up from my bed, I go to the bathroom. My toothpaste and brush tell me, I love you, we love you, brush your teeth. Then in the sink, the water says, rinse your mouth, I love you. Then my clothes says, I will love you, put on your clothes. Breakfast table, the chair says, I am sitting here whole night, please sit down, I love you. Then all the toast, my fruit juice, my cereal, coffee, they all tell me, we love you, eat us. Maharaj went on and on. I love it. Stories. Let me start with some of the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother. In 1959, I was in Benares. I met Swami Holy Premananda, who was a disciple of Holy Mother. The moment I entered the monastery, the Swami was my guide. Hello, young man, before you go any place, you must know first two things. Where is the bathroom and where is the drinking water? Very practical. Where is the bathroom and where is the drinking water? These two things you must know first. Alright, Maharaj. Then he took me to Vishwanath temple in Benares. You know, Indian temple, how it is. You just stand there. You will not have to make any effort. Pushed in, pushed out. From one door you entered, and another door you were out. That is Indian church. And luckily, you trusted Lord Vishwanath or put some flowers and water a little bit, but you will be pushed out. Very good. So that so after that, he told me, come here, young man. And just before I joined, 1959, October, I remember. September or October. Sit here. There is a marble bench. Sit here. Whatever momentarily you saw Lord in the shrine, that you meditate and repeat the mantra. Sometimes we go to the temples. Don't go as a tourist with a camera on the shoulder. Go as a pilgrim. See the deity, repeat the mantra. Meditate in the corner of the shrine, because the Indian temples are very, very busy, too much crowded. So this is the way, like at least 15 minutes you take a deep impression whatever you have seen. I learned how to visit the temple, how to visit the shrine. When you come here in the center, first come to Sri Ramakrishna, bow down, 10-15 minutes sit in front of the master. It is extremely important for deep impression. That when we start to read the Bible, ask and ye shall receive, seek ye shall find, and knock and it shall be opened unto you. Asking, seeking, knocking are very, very vital in the spiritual life. Always remember, I do not know you, you do not know me. At the same time, we feel that you are all my relatives. Because we are connected with that. Relative means Atmiya in Sanskrit. Atma, which is connected with the word Atman. So the same Atman, same consciousness pervading in all of us. So we are connected. That is God. That is Ramakrishna, who tied all of us. It is very, very important. These old sadhus, they may not be highly learned or a great speaker, but their lives demonstrate. And that is what to see and learn, that is what to learn from them. I remember another, that Swami is another story I wrote in Holy Mother's book. He went with Holy Mother to Bankura because Mother's niece Radhu was not well, and Swami, that our Swami in Bankura was Maheshwaranandaji, was a homeopathic doctor. Mother had tremendous faith in him, and he was his disciple. So Mother went with Radhu, and Mother had rheumatism, he had rheumatic pain, so every evening somebody would rub some medicated oil to her feet. So Baroda Maharaj was rubbing her feet, and Mother was seated on a stool. There was a kerosene lantern, and he thought, she's an old lady with all veins and sinews are visible and all wrinkles, and people call her Jagadamba. All of a sudden he saw that Mother's feet were changing. It became very well developed young woman's feet. Then he looked up and saw the Mother was not there. It was Jagadhatri, 400 goddess. Immediately he fainted. After some time, Mother said, "Oh Hari, ki holo go, oto. Oh Hari, what happened? Get up, boy, get up." I saw again that old Mother was sitting there. It was Huri Prem Maharaj. I think I told another story from Baroda Maharaj. I asked Maharaj, in my home we have mother, sisters, aunts, so many women in our family. What is the difference between those women and Holy Mother? He said, have you seen any human being who has no desire? That we saw in the mother. She was completely desireless. God has no desire. Desire comes from ignorance. This is Vedanta philosophy. Avidya, kama, karma. Why do you work? Because you have desire. Why do you have desire? Because you have ignorance. So all these human beings are rotating these three places. Avidya, kama, karma. That is Shankara. It's philosophy. So, another Swami said, Mother, Swami Sharadeshananda, I asked Mother what you saw in the mother. Nirvima, egoless. All these human beings have egos, including me. Everybody has ego. But mother had no ego. Ego comes from ignorance. God has no ego. Vishesh Maharaj, short time, I asked Maharaj, what did you see in mother? They are all mother's disciples. Ma kauke mone koshto diye kotha bolte parten na. Mother never hurt anybody in her life through harsh words, heart-wrenching words. Never is. That we saw in the mother. You know, we make friends, we make enemies through words. In our language, there is a beautiful saying, Boba Shotru nahi. A dumb person has no enemies. We make friends and enemies through words, through our dealings, through our behavior. Wonderful, those sadhus, I tell you. In 1970, I was in Benares, I met one Swami, Swayam Prabhananda. I said, Maharaj, do you think that if people die in Benares, they will get liberation? Do you believe it? He scolded me right and left and said, we old people are waiting here to die, having that faith, and you young man have come to confuse us. You know, trying to put doubt in our minds. He scolded me. I said, Maharaj, I just want you to know that, you know, it is, the scripture says, Jnanat Moksha. Liberation comes through knowledge. Knowledge of Brahma, knowledge of oneness. And that knowledge does not come until and unless you are completely free from desires. Ramakrishna's example, if there is any fiber in the thread, it will not go through the eye of a needle. It must be one point. So similarly, if you have fiber, fibers mean desires, it will not go to Brahman. So he said, that is the scripture says. Then he told me, Chetanananda, you are right, I am also right. Uncle, both cannot be right, Maharaj. Because Lord Shiva at the last moment will give the knowledge, so we will be fine. You will not try to worry about us. But you know, in that connection, I remember another beautiful story of Swami Nikhilananda. He went to Mahapurush Maharaj and said to Mahapurush Maharaj, Maharaj, Thakur says, those who came here, this will be their last birth. But last birth depends upon the knowledge of Brahman. Complete desirelessness, complete desires, free from desires. So, how is it possible, Maharaj? We have so many desires. Then Mahapurush Maharaj told Swami Nikhilananda, who translated the Gospel of Ramakrishna, great Swami, mother's disciple. Do you love me? Yes, Maharaj, I love you. I also love you. If you sincerely love Sri Ramakrishna, even at the time of death, if you think of him, he will appear before you. Do you know what will happen at that time? Your mind will be choked. No desire will arise. You will be overwhelmed with joy. That is the last part. You know, that through reasoning, through rhyme, through tapasya, through meditation, through japam, this, that, we are making tremendous effort to make us free from desires. But look, what a beautiful answer Mahapurush Maharaj gave. Your mind will be choked, will be overwhelmed with joy. No, at that time, no desire will come to have a house in San Francisco or have a new car and anything. No desire will arise at that time. You know how these problems, solutions come in our lives. I am very grateful to a Swami. I shall talk about him perhaps this afternoon. Swami Dhireshanand. He was an amazing Swami. I love history. He also loved history and a great recorder. In 1940s, 50s, in Benares, and 60s also, many disciples of Holy Mother, Brahmananda, they are living in Benares. In the afternoon, they would come and talk, and they reminisced about those olden days. And this Swami used to listen, and then record them at night. And those diaries, 13 volumes of diaries he gave to me. And he named the title of that diary, Sat Sangha Ratnavali. That is the name of his diary. Sat Sangha, Holy Company, Ratnavali, jewels. Jewels from the Holy Company, gems and jewels of Holy. Several volumes. I copied them. It took me 2 years. Then I prepared the manuscript. You will really like those things. So many new stories, incidents, episodes about Sri Ramakrishna Mother. As I told you, I thought that if I die, those things will be lost. That is the reason I became very serious and took that project. And there was another gentleman. His name was Guru Das Gupta. He was a disciple of Chetanananda, bachelor. He was a principal of a college. He used to record. So his diaries also came to me, this volume of diaries. I got these things from Benares. It was in I met one Swami, his name is Bhasharananda, Swami Buddha Maharaj. He was such a simple sadhu, it is hard to believe his simplicity. Always joyful. Swami Brahmananda's disciple. I asked him, Maharaj, when you were initiated, what did Brahmananda tell you? But Brahmananda told me 2 things. Don't practice too many spiritual disciplines. Practice 2. Brahmacharya, celibacy, monk, and truthfulness. That will be enough. I had a student's nature. Still I have a student's nature. I love to learn. So I asked Swami Vividishanandaji in Seattle, Maharaj, when Brahmanandaji initiated you, what instruction did you get from him? Please tell me. I saw that old sadhu's face beamed with joy. Do you know what did he say? Maharaj told me, you know, some people's spiritual life becomes monotonous, happy. How to make this spiritual life interesting? He said, puja, path, job, dhyan, চারটেই করবি, তাহলে তোর spiritual life monotonous হবে না। Puja, worship, a little ritual, path, reading, japa, dhyan, meditation. If you practice these four, your spiritual life will never be monotonous. I remember when I was initiated, I used to ask questions. So Swami Chetanananda said, why do you ask questions? I told, because I have questions. He said, read 2 books, then you will not have to have any questions. Dharma Prasanga Swami Brahmananda and Turiyananda Patra. Those 2 books are translated into English, A Guide to Spiritual Life and The Spiritual Treasures. If you read these 2 books, you see your questions are all answered. So that I not have to give too many interviews. Buddha Maharaj was so simple. Suppose he was the head of the hospital center. Suppose you have complained against me to Buddha Maharaj. Buddha Maharaj will tell me, hey, then he came and told me against you these things. What is the matter? He cannot hide anybody's name. He will tell, and then everybody knew that this person will expose, so nobody complained against him. Because he will be exposed. The moment you complain against me, oh, you did this. But that person came and told me against you this thing. Then when everybody knew it, no more complaint. I read an article about, he wrote an article, Shonane Swamiji, Shonane Netaji. It was in 1939 he wrote it. What happened in 1945, when Second World War was going on, Japanese people tried to attack India. And Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose took that Azadin force and entering. At that time he was in Singapore. He used to come to our center and meditate. And one day he asked his bodyguard, could you go and bring a rosary from the monastery? So he came and he got 54 beads. I want 108. They do not have 108, they have only 54. If you repeat twice, it will be 108. So he told many stories about Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. And of course, the British people put him into jail the moment sometimes because he has connection with Netaji. He said that we shall not be involved in the war, but we can serve it. I remember it was 3rd October 1977, I interviewed him on a tape in Ambika Dham. He told, build the monastic life. Renunciation and purity, these are the basic things. All the sanskaras will be wiped away if you have love for the master. He told that when Swami Vivekananda was supervising the construction of Swamiji's temple in Belur Math in early 1920s, his temple was dedicated in 1924. We had no money. When we got the money, then we started construction. And Swami Vivekananda would come from Allahabad, and also I was his attendant. Well, one day I was offering breakfast, Maharaj said, okay, what are we giving? He loves to eat. Bring some sweets from my room. And he loves to eat. Give him some good food. There are many, many stories. I saw that when Swami, during the trustee meeting, Swami Sharadananda would come from Udbodhan. After the meeting, he would sit and meditate for long hours. You know, I tell you frankly, Swami Bodhatmananda told me another story. Well, I came with a very urgent letter from Belurma to Udbodhan, mother's house, and gave that letter to Swami Sharadananda. He was then smoking his hababab, that pipe. Maharaj, here is an urgent letter for you. He immediately put his pipe, took the letter, took the scissors, cut it, read it, put it again into in the letter, put it on his staff, and then again he started to smoke. But do you know what I learned? I learned these people's mind always remains in God. He brings their minds to the world to do some work for the Master. When the work is done, again they go back to God. You know, how can you learn this technique? How can you learn this technique? That you will get some glimpses from these disciples, these stories of these monks, their observation of the second generation monks. What they observed, what they learned, that you learn. 20 minutes for questions and answers. There will be another session, of course, will be at 4 o'clock, you know. More stories will come. Now you it is up, now you can questions. Don't feel shy.
You spoke about Mukti and Nirvana. Can you give us a little more description of Mukti and Moksha, liberation?
Mukti and Nirvana, what difference or what?
Well, no, I just basically these are goals of the spiritual search. Can you sort of amplify on the nature of them?
You see, it comes in two ways, Vedantic way and Buddha's way. These are all different paths, but the goal is the same. In Vedantic way, Shravana, there are 4 external disciplines, 3 internal disciplines. That is Vedantic way. 4 external disciplines is Vivek, first discrimination. Second, detachment, renunciation. Third, self-control. Fourth, burning desire for liberation. These are the 4 external spiritual disciplines according to Vedanta. 3 internal disciplines, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. You will listen, hear from your Guru, then reflect, and then meditate. Ashukte amrite kalamnaya Vedanta chintaya. Till you go to sleep, till you die, think about yourself, your Atma, your Brahma. That is Vedantic way. And Buddha's way, Buddha says, 8-fold path and 4 radiant truths. Sarvam, dukkham, dukkham. Everything is full of misery, misery, misery. Sarvam, kshanikam, kshanikam. Everything is momentary. Salakshanam, salakshanam. Different species. Shunyam, shunyam. Everything is void. But Buddha says, don't talk about God. Don't ask me about the Atma. What is your problem? That you tell me first. Misery, dukkha. All these human beings have some sufferings. Sufferings come from three planes: physical plane, physical mental plane, external, adi adhyatmika, adi bhautika, adi doivika. Adhyatmika, pertaining to the body and the mind. Adi bhautika, which comes from the other external objects, neighbors or animals and this and that. Adi doivika, earthquake, accident, anything can come in. So this misery we always encounter in our life. We can help. There is some philosophy developed from misery. Shankya philosophy also. Shankya philosopher says, dukkha travaigata jikansa tad avagata ke hetu drishti sa partha chet naikantyan tato bhava. Being tormented by three kinds of misery, a question came in human mind, how to get rid of it. I want to get rid of misery. That is the reason Buddha says, first is misery. Try to understand what is misery. Then, what is the cause of misery? Vasana, desire. How to get rid of this desire? Follow my eightfold path that Buddha says. Satkarma, this eightfold path of Buddha, Ashtangik Marga. That will eradicate, uproot your misery. So, Buddha says, that he says, Manukaputra, that story, that dialogue. Somebody threw you an arrow from a distance, and the arrow penetrated in your body. And your friends want to remove that arrow and to save your life. You say, no, don't touch my arrow. I want to know who threw it. I want to know this arrow made from which factory, whether this arrow has any poison or not, whether all these things he will discuss, he will ask and ask, he will die. Remove the arrow the moment it is thrown. That is Buddha's philosophy. So Nibbana actually means not. Bana means coming and going. There are many interpretations of Nibbana. No more coming and going. If we blow the light, flame of a lamp, where does it go? Just gone. That is the way Buddha explained this misery will go. But the ultimate truth Buddha also kept quiet. Ultimate truth cannot be expressed, as Sri Ramakrishna said. So Nirvana and Mukti, liberation, as I said, goal is the same, paths are different. I had a discussion with one Swami. He said, Nirvikalpa Samadhi, where all thoughts will stop. And Patanjali's Yoga Sutra says, controlling the thought waves, chitta vritti, yoga chitta vritti nirodha, cessation, controlling the thought waves of the mind is called yoga. It is two different approaches, but the goal is the same. That's all. Another question?
Swami?
Yeah.
What stands out in your mind, in your time with Swami Prabhavananda in Hollywood? What do you remember about him?
Swami Prabhavananda, when he was in Hollywood, what is I tell you frankly, at that time I felt that if all the time festivity was going on in Hollywood, that Swami used to talk about Holy Mother, direct disciples. One day I went to see him, And he told me, Chetanananda, I'm a little depressed. You know, why are you depressed, Maharaj? After his morning walk, I used to go see him once a day. You know, previously I used to go to the shrine 3 times a day and meditate 3 hours. But now I cannot go. After this heart attack, I get dizzy. So I cannot go to the shrine. Then I said, Maharaj, it is not necessary that you will have to go to the shrine all through your life. You have recollected this. Sharana Manan, we call it. Well, yes. That I have. I met so many direct, 9 direct disciples I came in contact, and Holy Mother. So all these things I remember, and they are all in my mind. Uncle Maharaj, that is higher than going to the shrine and sitting there for 1 hour. This is called Sahaja Yoga. Natural awareness of God. Do you know what does it mean? It means, let me give an example, you will understand that. Here is an American going to work, driving, and he is eating donut, drinking coffee, and driving the car also same time to the freeway. She is an expert driver, she knows very well. It is natural, driving became her second, or her second nature, eating donut, drinking coffee, going to work. Similarly, in spiritual life, when japa and meditation becomes so smooth that it flows without making any effort. Some people, when I remember one girl, she said that I meditate 3 hours. I shall not mention, she used to connect it with that in California, one group. I thought 3 hours you sit. I sit only 1 hour and you sit 3 hours. But Swami threw up 2 hours bullfight, 1 hour. 2 hours bullfight. And 1 hour somehow mind becomes a little So what happened, that constant recollection, that's what happens. The story is in the Chandogya Upanishad. Ahara Shuddhau, Sattva Shuddhau, Dhruva Smriti, Smriti Lambe, Sarva Gruntinam Vipra Moksha. Sanat Kumar said to Narada, listen. Ahar means food. Don't think we eat only through the mouth. We eat through the 5 senses. Through the eyes we eat, through the ears we eat, through the nose, through touch. These are the 5 organs of knowledge. We gather everything and put in the mind. So if you constantly collect all 5 good things through the 5 senses and fill the mind, day in, day out, the mind will definitely become pure. Ahara Shuddho, if you put pure food, Sattva Shuddhi, your mind will be pure. Sattva Shuddho, Dhruva Smriti, if your mind is pure, you will get constant Dhruva Smriti. You will get constant recollections of God. That is the sign of the pure mind. Constantly you are thinking about God. Worldly things do not come to your mind. Smriti Lambe Sarva Gruntinam Vipra Moksha. When that kind of constant recollections come, you will be liberated. Maharaj was telling me, Chetanananda, look, that is reason sadhu also needs the company of a sadhu. Sometimes in the spiritual journey, we help each other. Maharaj was very fond of me. I am very grateful to him. He taught me many things. Great sadhu. Next question. Yes.
Maharaj, these great saints.
Please tell a little louder so that they can hear.
These great saints, they lived extraordinarily. Their life was extraordinary. Is their time of passing also extraordinary? They approach death in a different way.
I couldn't hear. Could you progress? What did you say?
Do they approach death in a different way, these holy men
I
who
do.
live an extraordinary
I
life?
have to get up. Tell me. If I do not hear right, I cannot answer right.
I was asking that these monks, they lived in an extraordinary way. They lived in an extraordinary way. Did they, at that time of passing, was that also extraordinary? How they approached death, how they lived the world?
I understand. He was talking about, some monks lead life in extraordinary way about their death. I saw some monks die. Sometimes in a very, through suffering that we see sometimes. But it is, their lives are really different. Please remember, one monk was telling that, you see my suffering, this is my last part. I am finishing my karma. Sometimes I saw some monks dying. I still vividly remember a monk, mother's disciple. I was in PG hospital in Calcutta in early 1960s. He had a stroke, paralyzed on the floor, well, on the bed, cannot move. All of a sudden, you see, it is a general hospital. 10 beds this row, 10 beds this row. And his bed number was 4. All of a sudden he said, hey, bed number 5, bed number 6, mother has come, I am going. That man cannot move from the lying down the bed. He got up, she sat down, mother has come, I am going. He saw mother, boom. I still remember, I carried his body to Kauratala Ghat in South Calcutta in the cremation. I shall never forget that monk. Another monk, face was glowing with joy. I have seen so many deaths in my life. But some died with pain, misery, suffering also. But it is hard to say what was in their minds at that time. Death. Swamiji was telling me, if my work is over, I must prepare myself for death. When Nivedita came with a problem on Wednesday, Swamiji died on Friday. Don't ask me any question, my mind is not going there. I am possessed with deep meditation. I am preparing myself for death. That is Swamiji. I wrote a long article, I shall never see body. Swamiji died at the age of 39. Amazing. That some direct disciples. It will come to everybody. Next question. 3-4 minutes, please.
Swami, it is said that the guru-disciple relationship lasts until the disciple is liberated. How does that work?
That is a very tricky question. Somebody asked Swami Bigyanananda, Maharaj, there's a guru-disciple relationship. You will be waiting for us. Well, no, I am not waiting for anybody. I am not waiting for anybody. But do you know what? Real guru is Sachidananda. That question was asked Sri Ramakrishna, Sir, Sri Ramakrishna himself said that when Guru dies, what happens? He merges with Ishta. So, your relationship with Ishta. Sometimes I say, I told one American devotee in Santa Barbara, Prabhupada's disciple, husband and wife, they're doctors. I told him, you know, in a spiritual life, three things are necessary. A guru, a Ishta, and a mantra. So you have three. What else do you need? Swami, social security check. Social security check. Old age, what else do you need?
When it comes to that liberation between the guru and the disciple, though, when the disciple is liberated, people have this idea that they're just going to go their separate ways and there's no relationship. But there's still, if they're in a body, there's still a relationship. There's still a
Relationship with whom?
Well, exactly. Chetanananda.
Relationship with Chetanananda.
Yeah, everything.
That is a good. If you have that relationship, you have no problem. Chetanananda will take care of it. The main thing is love your Ishta. That is the most important. Loving Chetanananda is very difficult. He has no form. He doesn't. But Ishta has a name, has a form. It is easy to communicate and connect with Ishta. So that I was telling somebody went to Jagannath Puri. Jagannath, you remember, he has no hand. When somebody goes and prays, Lord, 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 God says, I have no hands. Anyhow. Spiritual life, it is a journey. We learn from each other. And Swami Prabhupada went to Brahmananda and said, Maharaj, what shall I do? Spiritual life, struggle, struggle, struggle. Practice, practice, practice. That is the spiritual life. One of my students was asking me, Swami, I want samadhi. Then I said, well, before you want samadhi, you hire Rida. What do you mean? Ramakrishna's nephew, when Sri Ramakrishna was in Samadhi, he used to crash. Either he would fall, either he would break his hand or break his tooth. That happened. Sri Ramakrishna's hand broke and one's tooth broke. So before you attain Samadhi, you hire somebody so that who can hold you. Her husband says, Swami, I can do that job, let my wife have Samadhi. After God realization, there is no more fun. Before God realization, all fun. You will be merged. At that time, see, when the mind goes into that state, you will be always in that God consciousness. It will be hard for you to function. You will not be able to function in this world. Do you know what Holy Mother said? Those who want nirvana, they remain like wooden dog, motionless. It is better to love and serve. Then life would be very interesting. All right, we shall stop now. It is 12 o'clock.